Okay, so yeah, we've got CPU tournament number 12 out of 16. We have Ganondorf, Pokemon Trainer, Snake, Ness, Simon, Pit, Lucina, Samus, Fox, Ridley, Jigglypuff, Isabelle, Marth, and we have not Simon, but Richter, and another Isabelle, and Diddy Kong. So actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace one of the Isabelles just to avoid confusion, sorry, not confusing, but number 12 is higher than number 15, so I'm just going to replace that one, and we got another Samus, so gotta fix that as well. Yeah, Rob seems fine, but yeah, that's going to be it for the characters, and now we can shuffle them a bit, so that way it's completely random who's going to fight who. And so, yeah, now we can get into this tournament. So yeah, after this tournament is concluded, we'll have to do 2 pre-COCs to be able to decide seeding and stuff like that for the actual COC whenever it happens. But for round 1, battle 1, first one of today, we've got Ness versus Ridley. If you're wondering why I'm doing CPU tournaments today, it's because I did not do them on Thursday. And I needed to do them on Thursday, but I just kind of was not at home. I was on the road, traveling from Kansas City to home, so I wasn't able to stream at all. And Ness, with pretty early lead here, really did just take it back with that slide special. Tried to grab the ledge with slide special as well, it did not really work out, and then tried to back air Ness. I do like the strategy there, although it didn't really work out. Gets another side special, tries to go for a fair, but Ness air dodges it. His air dodge is actually kind of insane, because he can just recover pretty much using it only, without having to use his jumps sometimes. But that's going to be a lot of PK fires from Ness, which is going to get a lot of damage on Ridley. Like, trying to land with neutral B, I don't really know why that was his strategy there, whenever Ness can just Psy Magnet to absorb all of them, but that down smash is going to take Ness's first stock. Ridley with a bit of rage, definitely going to help him out in the long run here. It's going to be a side special out of that fair, lands a neutral air, gets hit by the PK Thunder's initial hit, but his intangibility does save him on the second hit there. I believe he would have gotten hit there had his wings not been intangible. Although that neutral air is going to take his stock. He did get about 70% on Ness though, which is definitely going to help him out for this stock. And that's going to be in there, and that's going to be Ness's stock. But Ridley wants more, and doesn't really go for it. Because he kind of understood that if he got more, he could potentially save Ness, which is not something that you want to do in this scenario. But that's going to be 80% from PK Fire. And that's Ness's stock. He did footstool Ridley there, but I mean, you gotta respect it from Ridley, ending that stock as quickly as possible. Ness even got the footstool, and it still wasn't enough to help him out, because he did jump before he was hit by that side special. If he would have had his double jump, I could see him getting back, but just an unfortunate way to go. Now we've got Fox versus Samus. Fox going to land the first hit, being a fair. Alright, I think he landed a few lasers, but fair is going to be the first for sure hit. Lands neutral air, tries to get an up smash out of the neutral air, but barely misses it. Though now, Samus has to lead by about 2%, so Fox will probably take it back in a second. Or Samus is going to up tilt him. Let go of his shine just like 1 frame too early, and did get punished for it. Don't know why this Fox is playing so defensively, but definitely doesn't help him out that much, as Fox is not a character that is designed to be played defensively, it's designed to be played aggressively. But he's kind of playing much more cautious around Samus, which doesn't really make sense either, because he does have his shine to reflect any projectiles, but he seems to be getting hit by most of Samus's attacks. as Samus isn't really going for projectiles in the first place. Down air almost took the stock, but Fox was able to land on stage and tech the hit as well. Going to be a back air from both characters, and now Fox still has about 20% over Samus, but is a stock behind. So he definitely needs to take this stock soon, and he does with an up air, and then get a lot of percent on this next stock pretty quickly. But back air is going to take hit stock, so definitely needs to take this stock as fast as possible. 0 to death would have definitely helped him out a lot, but being at 17% on your final stock is not the end of the world. Fox trying to approach, but Samus was kind of just zaring, so to be another fire. Samus recovering low. And then it's a weak hit up smash. Tries to land a forward smash, but does get parried, although Samus doesn't really follow it up with anything, and Fox is able to land an up tilt into an up special, actually. Down air almost set up for the back air, but just a bit too slow on the back air. Samus able to take that up special from Fox and be able to recover. And also punish Fox for using the up special with the up special from Samus, but Fox is able to land an up smash and take the stock. So a lot of things are going up. That side special definitely helped Samus out a lot, but Fox still close out Samus' stock pretty quickly. Same thing for Samus with that down air to up air. And Fox is eliminated and Samus moves on. Definitely thought Fox could take the game there off of that final stock, but just got hit a bit too much at the end and was unable to recover. So now we have Ganondorf versus Diddy Kong. We'll have Snake versus Pokemon Trainer. So all of the winners of the previous tournaments are coming up. Obviously, Ganondorf won the first in this set of 4, and then we had Pokemon Trainer, and then in the last tournament we had Snake. And he does land a Warlock Punch at the beginning, so I am actually going for Ganondorf this game. I mean, he literally just, like, walked up and Warlock punched Diddy Kong. And Diddy Kong kind of just accepted it. But Ganondorf still at an advantage here. Not by much anymore, but definitely could get an advantage off of that neutral air. Diddy Kong recovering pretty low, which is something that he can actually do now. Great to see that they added him back into the game after removing him in Smash 4. Or at the beginning of Ultimate from the transition from Smash 4. That up air, not going to be enough to kill, as Diddy Kong can actually tech hits, but definitely going to put him at a pretty tight spot in terms of percent. He does have a percent lead over Ganondorf by about 2, which is basically just nothing for Ganondorf. Even 40%, I would say. Or I mean, not 40, but 20% is nothing. Although 30%, he has to land a smash attack to be able to get the lead back, which is not something he can do without killing Diddy Kong at the moment. Almost could have set up for a Warlock Punch or something like that. Would have been kind of cool to see. And he's going to land that side special there. Doesn't follow it up. He waits for Diddy Kong to throw out an option. Diddy Kong kind of just sat on the ground. That up air is going to be enough to take Diddy Kong's first stock here. Diddy Kong can definitely take Ganondorf's stock a lot easier now than he used to be able to. And he does with back air, I believe that was. But yeah, it's definitely not that great to be at a disadvantage with Diddy Kong. Yeah, that nair into back air is doing a lot to Ganondorf. He finally uses his jump there, but it's not going to be enough to save him. And Diddy Kong actually gets a really nice combo there. Still going for Ganondorf because he did Warlock Punch at the beginning of the match. I don't understand why Diddy Kong even spot dodged up there. Because he did like everything perfect to be able to avoid that. Like you just sit and shield and then you just spot dodge at the right time, and he did that even though he wasn't close to the explosion at all. He was just being affected by the wind box. Down special is definitely going to do a lot to Diddy Kong there, although he doesn't really get a kill off of that side special. He definitely could have. With a forward smash, or not smash. Either one would most likely kill Diddy Kong at this percent. Although, I don't know. Apparently Diddy Kong weighs about the same as, Lucina, if I remember correctly, so don't know if that would have killed. I was watching a tournament today and somebody had said that, so don't really know if that's actually true, but a lot of people were talking about weight values, so I guess no one did prove or say that he was wrong in his statement, because it just sparked an entire conversation about weird weights. Like the fact that Ike weighs more than Ridley or something like that. Could be the other way around. Which, I guess if it's the other way around, it wouldn't have made sense, but yeah, it all started from, like, Rosalina being called a light character, even though she was heavy in Mario Kart. But yeah, that forward smash was going to close out that stock from Ganondorf there, so Diddy Kong does win. Ganondorf had a really good beginning landing that Warlock Punch, but after that he kind of just didn't really do much to Diddy Kong, and Diddy Kong kind of just ran around and hit him, and Ganondorf kind of just took it. So now we've got Snake versus Pokemon Trainer, which is actually a matchup I'm kind of interested in seeing, because I don't really know much about this matchup. We're going to start out with Squirtle. Obviously, Squirtle's fast enough to be able to avoid most of Snake's setups, although it does fall for that down special. I would have remained in Squirtle if I were Pokemon Trainer for this match, and then switch over to Charizard at higher percents, or if I had his stock already taken, I would stay as Charizard, which is kind of what I believe he's doing at the moment. That side special going to barely be enough to kill Snake there. I don't really understand why he jumped into the Blast Zone or whatever he did, but definitely a really good stock for Pokemon Trainer. Although, he probably should have stayed as Charizard, I would say. I was going to talk about Snake, but he probably should have just stayed as Charizard, because he would be able to get a lot of percent at the beginning of the stock here, which he still is with Squirtle. So, either character that's pretty solid against Snake. I would say Ivysaur's probably the worst character to use against Snake, but he's definitely not a bad, like, he doesn't have a bad matchup against Snake, it's just the other two Pokemon are a little bit better. Charizard for killing Snake, and then Squirtle for getting percent off of combos. Yeah, gets hit by that up tilt there from Snake, so that is going to be his stock. That 150%, so it didn't really have that much longer to live. It's going to be a forward air from Charizard. Snake recovering very low, because Charizard could definitely edge guard him if he's not too careful. He does blow himself up with the C4 though, which is pretty much just as bad. Charizard just flare blitzing, but that's pretty much the best move that you have with Charizard, or at least one of them. So, definitely can understand why he's spamming it. He does also have advantage over Snake, and that requires Snake to play pretty much perfectly in terms of defense against Charizard if he just spams Flare Blitz, because if he messes up at all and then gets hit by a Flare Blitz, then he will most likely not be surviving because of it. And so now Charizard does have a percent lead over Snake and a stock lead, which is definitely going to help out Pokemon Trainer here, but the C4 blows up at a pretty bad time for Snake, and he does die because of it. Definitely not a good way to go out, but Pokemon Trainer did play a really good game there. Snake maybe could have gotten a comeback started on that second stock, but I'm not really sure. He wasn't really able to get a lead and if he did have a lead, he wasn't able to maintain it that well in that game. But now we've got Jigglypuff versus Pit. I think Pit will most likely take this game. Pit has a lot of aerials that just have massive amounts of range because he uses his little bow sword thing to just kind of spin around and get a lot of hits, so it can cover a lot of Jigglypuff's options. Nair is actually larger than Jigglypuff, so it kind of gives you an idea of how much range Pit has in the air. He also has his bow if he can't reach there fast enough. But yeah, Jigglypuff can end stocks in a few hits as well, using rest and rest setups, but could definitely also edgeguard Pit pretty easily, but Pit could also do the same to Jigglypuff because they both have multiple jumps. So they can kind of chase each other in the air. Live Vegetable is going to be parried from Jigglypuff. Gets hit by the neutral air though. Doesn't really get too much of a follow-up. And Dash Hack is going to take Jigglypuff's first stock here. She is at about 150%, which definitely is not that bad for Jigglypuff. But Pit was just able to close it to stock pretty well. Although, I mean, I guess it wasn't too well because Jigglypuff was able to survive to the later 100%. Which is usually something that doesn't happen, and it's not too common for Jigglypuffs to do, unless they are in, like, top-level Jigglypuff. But most of the time, whenever you're playing against a Jigglypuff, they probably won't be able to live much past 110. Although Pit's doing a pretty good job of staying alive here. He does land that fair, and he does have a bit of rage on him now, being at 123%. 1, 2, 3, 4, in fact. Which is just going to mean that Jigglypuff loses stocks faster, which is definitely not something that you want to have happen as Jigglypuff. And that back air is going to close out Pit's stock, but being 2.5 minutes into the match, I could see Pit trying to time out Jigglypuff on this last stock unless he can close it out quickly, which it's looking like he can. Does land that up air, but Jigglypuff able to DI correctly, although lands on that up smash, so Pit has a stock lead above Jigglypuff now, and they're both at 0%, so pretty much anything could happen on this stock. We could see Jigglypuff just get a 0 to death on Pit, but looks like Pit might actually get a 0 to death on Jigglypuff. Or never mind, neither of them will get 0 to deaths, it looks like. Definitely could see Jigglypuff land a rest here, and if she does, that could change the game, but you pretty much just have to land 2 rest and then both kill to be able to win this game, because without either of them killing, then she just opens herself up to die. Yeah, there's going to be a sing from Jigglypuff into a forward smash. Yeah, she just charged it and waited for Pit to try and dodge it, which he did, and then she punished him doing a spot dodge. That was a pretty difficult read, though. But yeah, as I said earlier, I can see Pit definitely timing out Jigglypuff, as Pit's at a pretty high percent, although he's going to land that side special. It's not going to be enough to kill Puff, though. I was kind of skeptical of it, but Jigglypuff is pretty light. We now have under a minute left in the game, and Pit does land an up smash, which is parried on the first hit, but you gotta parry all the hits of the up smash to be able to live it, especially at 100% for Jigglypuff. So, Pit closing out that stock in about closing out the game in about 4 minutes. Now we've got Lucina versus Isabelle. I do think Lucina will probably win this game, but Lucina has never done well in CPU tournaments, and I don't really know why. But yeah, I guess the CPUs just do better than Lucina, pretty much. Like, there should be no reason that Lucina loses this game unless it's just because it's a CPU tournament. pretty much. At least in my opinion. This matchup is probably close to, or as close to free as you can get for Lucina. Like, I guess maybe Piranha Plant is pretty free, but Isabelle just can't really do that much damage to put Lucina into a kill percent unless she just gets a massive amount of hits. She can outrange Lucina, which is definitely something that's good about her, but Lucina can kind of just get in there, get a few hits, and then take a stock. Though, as you can see, Isabelle's going to SD there for absolutely no reason. I guess maybe to unsail her moves. Like, I have no idea why she SD'd at 29%, but definitely gonna give Lucina a bit of help. Yeah, looks like they're both trying to get a hit here, but Isabelle's going to be the one to connect the hit. Both of them are pretty much just missing everything and trying to dodge each other while trying to get a hit, but Isabelle did land that nair, which should kind of change the tide of the game there. Lands an up air. Another up air could allow Isabelle to take the lead in terms of percent, and she does, but Lucina just needs pretty much an up smash or a forward smash to be able to take Isabelle's stock here. And Lucina has about a 9 or 11% lead now, instead of a 1% lead. Does get that Void Rocket down special is going to be enough to take Lucina stock though. Oh hey, Unreal, tap water. Yeah, that's going to be a new special from Lucina, and it's going to be enough to take the stock. Yeah, Lucina not doing too great on this final stock, but I mean, I've kind of expected Lucina to lose this. Lucina just doesn't really do that well. Yeah, it is a pretty good name. At least it's not a just random combination of letters like a few people's names are on Twitch, but they're mostly real names. CPU tournaments. I've been doing them since Smash 4, but I know a few people have been, like, doing CPU tournaments in Ultimate. Like, I know Alpharad did a pretty large CPU tournament, but I did one towards the end of Smash 4 and thought I'd stream one because they sounded pretty fun, and I've been streaming them in, like, sets of 4 to try and separate them a bit. And, like, every 4 sets, there's going to be some kind of Contest of Champions thing where they kind of get ranked in that set, and then all of the winners will be in one giant tournament. But yeah, Isabelle is going to take that game with a back throw. Let's let it floats at the end. I actually bought a Wii the other day to try to get some of the older Smash games. Lucina, yeah, she definitely could have done it, but she just plays terribly in these tournaments. But yeah, now we've got Simon versus Marth. Like, Lucina's actually never won a game for this set of 16, I think. She might have won one and then lost the next game. And she hasn't even gone against any top tiers as far as I remember in CPU tournaments. She's only played against lower mid-tiers. But yeah, my Wii actually doesn't play Brawl because it's a dual layer disc, and I need to get a disc cleaner to be able to fix that. But I also bought Melee for it, so I can play that. And that's usually what I play. I don't have a GameCube memory card, so I can't save any of my storage on it, but I can just kind of practice movement until I get stuff. But And that's kind of the most important thing to start out doing in Melee, is what I've heard, is just to get practicing on moving around and stuff like that, because the game controls very differently from all of the Smash games that I've played. Which I think the only one I haven't really played that much of is the Wii U, but I have played it a bit. And it played pretty much similarly to 3DS, and that was the first Smash game that I started playing on, like, a more competitive level. And that was about the summer where all the characters were revealed to be in Smash Bros. Is whenever I started playing. So, I guess that was last summer. Although I did play it a little bit before, because I like Sonic, so I bought Brawl whenever it released. And that was the first Smash game that I played, and then after that I played 64 and then 3DS. And then all of the other games. I would say this one's probably my favorite one. It's the one that I played the most by far. I have about 800 hours in this game, more than any of the previous Smash games. Yeah, Switch is... I would say it's probably definitely worth it now. I thought it was a pretty good idea to buy one back whenever they first released. I bought one, like, July of 2017. Yeah, sorry about that. I bought one in about July of 2017 because I liked some of the games that were already on there, like Skyrim and Breath of the Wild, so I thought I would try Breath of the Wild, and then I've been playing Skyrim for a long time, so I just wanted to be able to play that on the go. And then they started adding more games, and so I would say it's definitely, like, a worthwhile system to purchase now. Like, even then, I would say it was still pretty good for the exclusives, but now a lot of the exclusives are getting better, pretty much. Like, I wouldn't say any exclusive games have been necessarily bad, but some have been bland. Like, I would say ARMS was an okay game, but it's definitely not something that you just buy the Switch to play ARMS. Whereas something like Super Smash Bros. Or Super Mario Odyssey is a game that I would buy the Switch to play. Yeah, I kind of like the 3DS's portability originally, and I used to use that a lot more than my Switch, because whenever I first bought one, the only game I had was Mario Kart. And so I was kind of used to playing Mario Kart because I'd been playing 7 for a pretty long amount of time. And I liked Pokemon at the time, but whenever I got a few more games like Skyrim and Super Mario Odyssey, then I started to play it a lot more. And now I pretty much only play my Switch out of any console, because I also have an Xbox One and a Wii. But I probably played my Switch at least 10 hours a day. On some days. Sometimes I only play about 5, but I usually just play a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 15 a day. Or at least have it on in the background for that long. Not necessarily just sit down and play it. So yeah, Simon did win that game over Marth. It was actually a closer game than I thought it was going to be originally. I didn't really get to talk about it much in the background, so I was kind of talking about other things, but now we have Richter versus Rob, so it's pretty much going to be the same game, except instead of Marth, we've got Rob. My main is, Lucina and Daisy, and then I have a secondary link. But yeah, I kind of have two mains, so I used to main Daisy, but I did a lot better with Lucina. So then I switched over to Lucina, but I still have a lot of practice with Daisy. So I would say that I kind of main her as well. And then with Link, I've kind of been picking him up. And it's just a regular Link. Oh, who is your main? Sonic? I would say he has to play a lot more Campy in this game than he used to, because he lost spin dash canceling, which was probably his main tool. But outside of that, he's decent at edge guarding, so that's definitely a pretty strong strength, and he's fast as well, 'cause obviously he's the fastest character in the game, being Sonic, so he's going to have that advantage over most characters. But I would say he mainly just struggles with projectiles, and he doesn't really have any good matchups against a lot of the top tiers, so there's not really anything too special about him other than his speed. He's pretty much just an average character that's just a little bit faster than most of the average characters. He doesn't really have anything that I would say is bad about him, other than that he's kind of has a gimpable recovery, but I would think Pikachu is the best Pokemon in the game. I used to think it was Pichu, but after the latest patch, I would say it's definitely Pikachu. Pikachu would probably be in my top 5, characters after the last patch. Because he was close to top 5 and they increased his grab range. Yeah, I would say Greninja's the second best Pokemon. He's pretty much just like a better version of Sheik. So Sheik in the previous Smash games was always a top tier. And in this game I would say she's high tier. But Greninja's top tier, so it's basically just the same thing as playing Sheik. Although you do get a couple of different moves related to Greninja, being like Water Shuriken and Shadow Sneak. But yeah, Rob actually has pretty big disadvantage here, I would say, because he's already 100% on this stock, and Richter is still alive at 166% for this stock, so pretty much Rob can kill Richter, and then Richter can just come back and forward smash Rob, and it be an even game, or not even game, but Richter would still have advantage. U2's okay. His main problem is that he just has too large of a hitbox for his weight, because he's one of the lightest characters in the game. He used to be the 5th, but he got a slight weight increase, and I don't know what rank he is now, but he's still towards the lower end of the weights, and his hitbox is about the same size as Ridley, and Ridley and Mewtwo are probably two of the largest characters in the game. But the advantage using Ridley is actually has weight, and Mewtwo has pretty much no weight. So you can't really get out of juggles, and you also die very quickly out of the juggles in the first place. So if you're playing against a character like Fox, he can up air you twice at about 50% and it would kill. But I know that Armada was looking into Mewtwo a while ago. But now I think he just plays Inkling in Ultimate. I don't even know if he plays Ultimate anymore. Yeah, Richter does get the back air, and he will move on to round 2. I would say Duck Hunt, he's probably one of the harder ones, but I think Shulk's a pretty difficult character to learn. I would say he's probably the hardest to kind of at least understand when to use his Monados and stuff like that. Peach and Daisy are pretty difficult to learn. I still wouldn't say that I'm perfect with them, but I have played them for a bit of time, so I do know some of the stuff. But they have a lot of like complicated combos, but Shulk's definitely the most complicated, because you've got all of the Monados stuff to worry about, and then I would say Olimar's probably up there as well. It'd be between Olimar and Shulk, I think, because with Olimar you have the Pikmin order, which is not just the individual Pikmin, but it's like the amount of Pikmins that you have as well, because you're going to have 3. So there's just a massive amount of combinations, and you need to know like the advantages and disadvantages of all of the combinations to be pretty much the best Olimar player, I would say. It's someone that knows how all of the combinations work. Yeah, Sonic's still a decent character. Like, he still has a decent damage output. A lot of his moves don't work, though. Like, his up tilt, it doesn't really connect all of the hits. And Ridley and Samus are fine. I didn't even realize that. And Ridley did the same thing that he did on the last stock against Ness. But yeah, I would say Sonic would still be a decent character. He's definitely a really good starting character to learn the game with. Kind of like Mario. I would say Mario's a little bit better than Sonic in this game. In some aspects, but Sonic's definitely not a bad character to start learning all of the game's mechanics with. We have Ridley beat Samus this time, instead of the other way around, like in usual Metroid games. Now we have Diddy Kong versus Pokemon Trainer. Pokemon Trainer's the only person that's won a previous tournament that's still in, so if Diddy Kong eliminates him, then it's just going to be a random character that wins. A lot of people think Little Mac is like a pretty decent character. I think he's right. I think he's probably underrated, but he's not to the point where he's like a top tier character. I would say he's probably low tier, which is actually pretty decent because I used to consider him as a bottom tier character, but he's gotten a lot of buffs that have changed my mind. Like his forward tilt actually works, and he can do a few things with his jab. Like he can do this thing where he just jabs infinitely, but it's pretty hard to set up because you have to have pretty much frame perfect inputs. For casuals, yeah, I would say on a stage without blast zones, Little Mac would be a very scary opponent. Because he's just insanely fast. Like, his speed is kind of an aspect of him that's pretty underrated. He can get to one side of, like, for Fountain of Dreams, he can make it within probably about 3 seconds from one side to the other. Or not within 3 seconds, but probably within, like, 1.5 seconds. I believe he has a faster run speed, Little Mac does, than Captain Falcon. Because Falcon is pretty sluggish in this game. He's one of the faster characters, but he's still kind of slow. Captain Falcon actually has combos though, so that's why I would say he's pretty much just like a better version of Mac. Or they are pretty similar though. Yeah, he's kind of complicated to learn, but the main thing about Pokemon Trainer that makes him not very complicated is a lot of the characters are really basic. There's not too much, like, things that if you just played, like, Bowser, you can see, like, the resemblance of Charizard to being heavy compared to other heavies. Like, he's pretty much got the traits of all heavies, like, mixed together. And then Ivysaur is kind of just a middle character that has decent ground speed and air speed with, like, decent combos and kills, but he doesn't have anything too special about him, which is actually pretty good for him because, like, I guess his hitboxes are something that's special about him. I've never actually been, like, a button mashing person. I've always tried to play with something, like, some kind of game plan, rather than just going in and trying to press buttons until I connect a hit. Like, when I play as Lucina, I've always tried to just land with down air. Oh yeah, Little Mac being playing in a button masher way with Little Mac is definitely, like, a top tier way to play Little Mac. Because if you play him on, especially stages with no blast zones on the bottom part, so, like, walk-off stages, then it's definitely a pretty scary thing to fight a button mashing Little Mac because you just have no idea what he's going to do. Although spamming smash attacks as Mac is probably the best strategy for Little Mac, because they all have super armor on, like, startup. Not while they're charging, but while the animation starts. Need to drink some water. Homing attack's a decent move for Sonic. I usually use it at higher percents, but yeah, I usually use it at higher percents to try and catch people that drop their shield on it. because I'll usually charge it for a bit and then press a button. Because if you spam homing attack and you just spam the B button, you'll eventually condition them just to try to shield the initial hit, and then they'll drop shield to try to punish it. And if you charge it for just a bit longer, then you can punish them. Diddy Kong's going to take that game. And now we have Pit versus Isabel. Sonic's Final Smash, if you're referring to that, I would say it's probably the second worst Final Smash. Maybe. I have to look at all the Final Smashes, which I still haven't seen all of them. I've seen most of them, though. Like, I've seen all the animations, but I haven't seen how they do. I know Sonic's is usually rated as one of the worst because it can't really kill unless your opponent's at about 200% at the beginning of it. I kind of like the ability to be able to control Sonic originally as Super Sonic. And same thing with Yoshi's original Final Smash, I did like that as well. Because you actually had a projectile, so it was pretty much just a better version of Sonic's Final Smash, was Yoshi's, but they were both pretty decent in that, or in Smash 4, but in this game, they're, or I would say Yoshi's is still pretty solid, but Sonic's isn't. Yeah, you could make Sonic move slightly upwards to get closer to the top blast zone, which is where it kills, but it still won't kill until, like, the upper 100%. Yeah, Isabel's actually doing pretty decent at the beginning of this game. She's already got Pit down a stock and at 80% and still on her first stock, although she's at 170%, so that's not that great. Yeah, Pikachu's a very solid character to main. Although, he has a pretty weird list of techs, like nair looping, where you just kind of do fast fall nairs and then you can pretty much just spam them into pretty much anything. Although, I don't really know too much about them. I'd recommend watching ESAM for those, but ESAM, he actually said that Snake is currently the best character in the game, but he said Pikachu was top 3, I think. Or no, he said, yeah, it was Pikachu was in top 3 because he was number 3. The game's not too different from Smash 4, it just is faster. Yeah, I think his main reasoning for having Snake as the best character in the game was that if you play Snake pretty much perfectly, not like perfectly as in you don't get hit for the entire time, but if you play Snake and you just set up all of your things quickly as possible and the setups actually connect, then you'll do well. But I don't think Snake is that good, because his disadvantage is really bad whenever he's off stage. Yeah, Isabel took that game as well. From Pit. Yeah, there were a few placements that I didn't agree with on his tier list. Like he said, Dr. Mario was bottom tier. Yeah, we actually have Simon versus Richter. Yeah. Earlier there was a Ganondorf that just walked up and, Warlock punched them. Oh yeah, this fight should be pretty fair, as they're both pretty much the same characters, just the down special is slightly different. And it's pretty much the thing is that Richter's down special can hit red Pikmin and Simon's can't, is the main difference. I guess Simon's can blow up bombs though, which is actually a little bit more useful, I think, than Richter's. Because you could have a Link that's trying to set up a remote bomb and then Simon can just down special it. I probably like Luigi more than Mario in general, not just in Smash, but I play a lot more Mario in Smash because he's a lot easier to play than Luigi. But just in general, I like Luigi. I've never actually played Luigi's Mansion though, but I've always wanted to try it because it looked interesting. And I'm thinking about getting the third one on the Switch. I know that you don't really have to play the first or second one to understand the story, because the first one was like Luigi went to a mansion because Mario got trapped there and then had to save him from King Boo. And the second one, which is Dark Moon, I don't even know the story on that one, but I'm assuming it's something along the lines of that, because the third one, Luigi goes to a hotel and all of his friends get trapped, and so then he's got to save them from King Boo. I think is the story that they're going for. Down smash is not going to be enough to kill Simon there at 150, but it will be enough to make him unable to recover from that. But yeah, Luigi used to be a lot better in Smash 4 than he is in this game, and then Richter's going to SD. Oh yeah, so it's pretty similar to the first one then. Okay, now we have Ridley versus Diddy Kong, so I guess all the people from the original tournaments were eliminated. I'm kind of hoping that Ridley wins, because in both of the games that he's played so far, he's done side B to kill. In the first game he did it final stock, just to be able to win the game quickly. And then in the last game he did it second stock, so he'd have advantage. Okay, there's Ridley getting a side special, SD, but yeah, I don't really, like, I know a little bit about E-Guide. I know a lot of people wanted him in Smash, so pretty much all of the things that I've learned about E-Guide have been through, like, people talking about E-Guide potentially being a Smash character, which was probably the strangest character I've heard to be thought about appearing in Smash. I would say he's much more unusual than a character like Wii Fit Trainer, if he were ever added in. Yeah, I don't understand how he would work. But I used to watch a lot of leak videos before Ultimate came out just because I found them entertaining. I guess he would use the Poltergeist a lot, which would kind of be interesting. Because he did invent the Poltergeist, so he could have a couple of, like, weird machines. Yeah, maybe. I don't mean, like, use the Poltergeist to, like, absorb people, but maybe you could have, like, a Poltergeist that works similar to, like, a Flamethrower, I guess. That'd be kind of interesting to see. So you could have another kind of character like Bowser or a Charizard, although I would say Bowser's works a lot better than Charizard's does. But yeah, Luigi doesn't use his Poltergeist to be able to absorb, so I could see them making a workaround like that. Oh, Nair's gonna be... Oh, I guess Ridley had Reach. So yeah, Nair could definitely take the stock there. Although his movement speed would probably be similar to Kirby's, if I had to guess, if anything was similar to Kirby. The best of Pokemon trainers Pokemon is probably Ivysaur, and I would say Squirtle's pretty close to being near Ivysaur. Although in the tier list that I've made in the past, I've usually rated all the Pokemon differently, and I usually put Squirtle and Ivysaur somewhat near each other. I mean, he's kind of just mediocre. Like, there's not too much wrong with Lucario. He just kind of doesn't have that much range. But whenever he has his aura maxed out, then he gets a lot of his attacks have more range, I guess. He gets a lot of his attacks have more range. But yeah, a lot of his attacks will hit opponents from further away because the aura will be a lot larger. I'm currently making one for this patch. Like, right now I'm working on low tier. Like, I already have the tier list made, but I've got to write what I'm going to say and, like, the reasons why I think each character is going to be where they are. And I'm still probably going to edit it a bit while I'm actually writing it. And I've already thought of a few places that I could fix it, but... yeah, I do have a YouTube. It's the same as this channel's name being Unpause47. Except there's no space. Or there is a space on YouTube, but in this channel there's no space. But yeah, on YouTube I usually just do like a character guide a day. That's what I've been doing recently, and I'm on Smash 4 already. Oh, thanks for subscribing. But yeah, I don't really promote the YouTube channel that much, on this channel at least. I usually kind of just say that it exists, and then I kind of leave an Easter egg on the top of the screen, on this screen here, that mentions it, but other than that, that's pretty much it. And we actually have Ridley versus Simon for the final fight, which is something that I didn't expect, but it should be an interesting final fight. But yeah, on YouTube I usually do daily character guides until I'm through the entire roster, which will be pretty soon. Like today I did Rosalina and Luma. It's not on there yet, but it should be on there pretty soon. But usually I just upload streams that I do on Twitch on there. Like whenever I make a tier list, I'll stream it and then I'll just put it on YouTube through that, because it's pretty easy to upload a stream from YouTube rather than having to edit a video. I would say that they're alright characters. They've still got the same problems as they had on the 3DS, being they are lightweight, so they get juggled pretty easily, and they don't really have a fast fall speed, so the same thing happens there. They probably get juggled the most out of any character in the game, because they're also pretty large as well. And then without Luma, Rosalina's pretty weak, but whenever Luma's there, Rosalina's a pretty decent character. It kind of just depends on if she's there or not, because Rosalina and Luma are balanced around the fact that they're two characters. So if they made it where like Rosalina got a damage increase while Luma's gone, that would definitely help Rosalina out a lot. Or like a weight increase as well, though that really wouldn't make that much sense. Yeah, I used to upload just like random games that I would play on stream. Whenever I first started streaming, I played pretty much any game that I had, but now I pretty much just play Smash Ultimate all day, and so I just kind of stream that. And then I just upload all of my streams to YouTube. It's pretty much just a stream archive. Although I haven't uploaded every stream that I've ever done to YouTube, because I streamed without knowing that you could upload streams directly from Twitch to YouTube. Whenever I played Minecraft, I did modded. I used to play a lot of Bed Wars. It was on like the Pokemon server, so it was always kind of neat to collect Pokeballs. Like the Pokefind server thing, was what it was called. And I used to play Bed Wars a lot on that, but I haven't played on a server in a long time. I just use the Twitch app for modded. And then I would just stream off of Streamlabs. Yeah, Simon is going to take the game there, so he does move on to the actual Contest of Champions and win the tournament. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of just Ridley at this point. Wait, actually this needs to stay on Ganondorf. Let me just go back. I do like the fact that Ridley ended his final stock with a suicide because that's what he did for all of his other stocks. Oh wait, I've got to turn this down to 4, and then I can turn this down to 4. Yeah. But Ridley, he still died doing what he did for the entirety of the other games. Or not the entirety, but what he did in all of his other games. Let's see, the next one was Pokemon Trainer. And then Snake. And then, I guess, Simon. I think Simon was in the last one of these as well. So I'll just shuffle it around and then get in. And there's going to be 2 of these. There's one with this set of 4, and then there's one with the other 12, or the other 8 tournament winners. So we've got Pokemon Trader versus Ganondorf. I believe this was like the last fight of the game Pokemon Trainer 1, so it could be a rematch.
3, 2, 1, go!
I mean, Pokemon Trainer did start out Squirtle, which is okay to do against Ganondorf. I would have recommended Ivysaur to start out against Ganon. Like, against just any heavy in general, unless they have pretty slow moves. With Ganondorf, he does have a lot of slow moves, but he's not going to throw them out at the beginning. I think Pokemon Trainer would be a high tier, towards the kind of middle area, towards the top as well. So kind of the lower top, high tier characters. A lot of people thought he was top tier initially. Well, the best main would be a character that has a playstyle that you like. And I guess since you said you like Sonic, for top tiers, have to look at the list, which I do have on my phone, so I guess. So let's see, so the character that's going to play the closest to Sonic that I have in top tier is Inkling, Wolf, or Pikachu. So either of those characters, or not either, but any of those characters would be pretty decent main if you like Sonic's playstyle. Pokemon Trainer going to lose the stock there as well, but Ganondorf's on his last stock. I'm going to switch over to Squirtle at the beginning of this one. Yeah, I would recommend to stay as a character that you like to play as rather than a character that you good with, unless you plan to play Smash Brothers on a competitive level and try to win Evo, in which case I'd recommend playing like Peach and Daisy, but playing as a character that you'd like to play as is much more important if you just play casually, but still in a competitive way, which is basically what I do. Like, I don't plan to go to any major tournaments or anything like that. I kind of just like to beat my friends at the game. And I can do that pretty consistently now because they rarely play Smash. Yeah, Pokemon Trainer ending with the Flare Blitz, and now we've got Simon versus Snake. So, projectile fight.
3, 2, 1, go!
And it's going to be on Lilat as well, so definitely an interesting way for projectiles. Or an interesting stage for projectile characters. Yeah, Pokemon Trainer is pretty fun to play, but I just haven't really played as him that much, because I try to play as my mains a lot. Because I used to never play as them. I used to only have like 2 hours with my mains, and then I would just play random all the time. But Snake just jumped off the side twice. I don't know if that was to try to 3-stocks, or to get a reverse 3-stock on Simon or what, but I don't really understand what his game plan was there. Yeah, Pokemon Trainer is a character that is going to take a while to master whenever you should play as which Pokemon, I guess. There's something that's interesting about him. Although Shulk would probably be the character that took the longest amount of time to learn. I guess also, maybe, Kid and Ryu. I'd say they're probably the second most complicated character. It's between them and Olimar that are the second, but I would say Shulk is the most complicated. Although I rarely see people use their command inputs except for Ryu's Flame Hadouken is what I call it because I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's just the red version of Hadouken. That's the only command input that I see them use most often. But they do have their own special command inputs. Like I never see people really use Kins. Although they do command input moves like Shoryuken and Hadouken because those are really easy to input. Yeah. I mean, Snake is actually coming back this game. So far, at least. He went from jumping off the side twice to now Simon's on his final stock, and he's at 149. So he gets Rage as a bonus. Although, in the last tournament, he was blown up by his own C4 twice. And the second time was his last stock. And it also just exploded because he wasn't, or he didn't detonate it, so it just exploded because it sat there for too long. But Simon's backer is going to be enough, I guess. I didn't really think that would kill, but then I saw the knockback. I thought Snake still had a bit of time before he could, or he would lose his stock. Because he's a little heavy. Yeah, it's going to be Pokemon Trainer versus Simon. They actually haven't fought, so I don't really know who's going to win. If I had to guess, I would say Pokemon Trainer wins, but it depends on how Simon plays. If Simon doesn't do anything too risky, he could definitely take the game. And Nightbot. 71 messages were deleted by a moderator, being Nightbot. Yeah, Nightbot's a little bit harsh on caps. And I've never understood why, but a few people have tried to just say like a sentence in full caps, and it just eliminates it. Although I don't understand why Nightbot eliminated 71 messages instead of just one. So yeah, I'm sure if people watch like the stream replay, just in Twitch. I'm pretty sure it deletes all the messages that got deleted by a moderator, so no one would be able to see it. But yeah, I think Pokemon Trainer is actually red, and then I think the other one is, the female one's green, but red and Ash look very similar. But yeah, I don't want to be like rude to correct it, but it's just kind of a common mistake. Like, I got them confused whenever I first got into Smash Brothers, because I rarely watch the Pokemon anime. Like, I watched the first season, but that was all that they had on Netflix. They didn't have any of the other seasons. It just was Pokemon, the Indigo League Season 1, and then it jumped to Pokemon X and Y, so I never finished watching them. But I've played all the games except for Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. That's the only generation that I've never played. Yeah, the thing is, Pikachu in this game is pretty much like Pikachu in the anime, where it's just a pretty unbalanced Pikachu that doesn't really make sense compared to the games. Although I guess you could say the same thing for this Pokemon Trainer's Pokemon. Down smash there, it's gotta set it to the final stop. Yeah, it's really good if you're recovering at the angle, but if you're recovering underneath the stage, it works most of the time. But if you're recovering from too far, then it doesn't really work. Although if you recover directly upward, then that would be pretty bad, because then you would have to use its aerial drift, and it's not that great. But as you saw there, if you're recovering from like the angle that it actually launches at, then it works most of the time. Although Charizard does have the best recovery out of all of Pokemon, so. And then Ivysaur has the worst, so most of the time if people start with Ivysaur, they'll switch into Charizard if they get knocked off stage. But yeah, that definitely sends Pokemon Trainer up higher in the list, now that he's won this. Yeah, you can switch at any time as long as you haven't spammed the switch, because there is a bit of a cooldown, but once the cooldown's out of the way, then you can just switch at any time. You can pretty much switch in the middle of a combo as long as it's not true, and then you get a frame 1 air dodge. Which is something that is kind of used in tournaments and like professional Smash Brothers tournaments, but I judge tier list based on stuff that the game rewards, or like not rewards, but I guess favors. So things like, does the character have decent edge guarding, or do they have decent frame data on stage? I actually don't remember the order that I should be putting all of these people in, so I'm just gonna put them in a random order. So I know King K. Rool's won a tournament. Bill Piranha Plant has. Ike. Pokemon Trader. This is all the previous 12. Little Mac actually won a tournament as well, so Little Mac goes here. Simon. Ridley. I don't actually remember the other two, I'd have to look real fast. Okay, so then Olimar and Bowser are the other two that I was missing. So I just a random order, so I guess it's gonna be shuffled anyway, so the order really doesn't matter that much. But if you're wondering about like CPU tournaments for tier list, I don't use them for tier list. Because then Lucina would be a low tier. And that just doesn't really describe Lucina. I kind of use tier list to be able to find some stuff with characters and learn certain matchups. These are the previous winners from the past tournament, so if they've won a tournament or if they fought against someone who won a tournament in a set of 4, they automatically get entered into this list, so these are all the previous winners. And then this is like the second time I've done something like this, because I did season 1 is what I called it, where I did 16 tournaments and then had a big tournament where I took all 16 of the winners and put them into one tournament, and King DDD won that, so at the end of this season, I'm probably going to have the person that wins this tournament series fight King DDD. But yeah, Lucina would be a low tier character if I judged tier lists based off of CPU tournament results, and Little Mac would be a top tier character. Falcon, or Captain Falcon, would be the best in the game, because he's won the most games out of any character. He hasn't won the big tournament or anything like that, but he's done well consistently. And he usually does flashy Falcon combos. But yeah, after this stream, I'm probably gonna just end it for the day and then work on the tier list. That's what I'm thinking of doing. Did you play a tiebreaker if you tied on the end of the 32? So I guess you won 16 and he won 16? Or was it just the points added up? Oh, what's the point? Okay. I remember when I first got my Switch and I finally finished Mario Kart and got like all of the characters. I think the only one you had to unlock was Metal and Gold Mario. Then after I did that, I played like a full 48, which is all of the courses in just like a random order. And I've probably done that like 10 times total. So I pretty much know like all of the stages in Mario Kart 8. But that was just because this was the only game that I had on the Switch whenever I first bought my Switch. So if I had to play my Switch, I could only play Mario Kart. So the game got kind of stale for a while. Yeah, if I ever have like friends over or something and they want to play Mario Kart, like one time, we were having like a house party and a lot of my friends wanted to come over, so I said that I could beat them without looking at the screen on the Super Nintendo Rainbow Road, and somehow I actually managed to do it. I don't even remember how I did it, but now I probably couldn't do that, because I used to have all the stages just memorized. But we just did like a one-on-one race, and I managed to beat him. And I guess it's because I was playing with the smart steering as well, so that kind of helped me out a lot. So I didn't fall off, and they were playing without smart steering. I don't usually play on 200cc. I can't really control my card on that. But I usually play around 150. Like if I play lower than 150, it's because I'm playing with people that don't play the game or have never played it. But most of the time I play at 150. So I guess Ridley got a buy, and Palatine is going to get a buy, so that's pretty useful. Yeah, 150 is just much more relaxing, and it's what I'm used to because on all the Mario Kart games they only went up to 150. Although you have to play like 200cc to unlock Gold Mario, I think. so I did have to do that. Like, I managed to get a gold rank in all of the tournaments in the Grand Prix mode. That was probably the last thing that I did in the game, was get the gold rank. Yeah, that's what I did. Endorf with the Dorian. Honestly, King K. Rool is kind of overrated. I put him in bottom tier in my tier list, so I did bottom tier as top 5 now. And he's in the bottom tier for me. Or it's not my top 5, but it's my bottom 5 characters. Because I have S tier being my top 5 characters and F tier being my bottom 5 in King K. Rool's. I think he's in the middle of that, if not he's like on second. Because if King K. Rool is spaced out away from you, he can't really do anything to you because his projectiles move so slow. And then if he tries to approach you, you can just beat out all of his options. And then if you like forward smash with Ganondorf against his dash attack, then you'll probably break his belly armor. And then you get a free punish. But he can be played. If he mixes up his projectiles pretty well, then he can be played decently. And it's pretty annoying to fight against K. Rool online, but I bought a K. Rool amiibo just so I could practice against spamming K. Rools, because you can teach him to spam, because you let amiibos teach, or the amiibos will learn from you, so you can teach them to do stuff. So I taught him just to spam, like, down smash, because I was having trouble fighting against K. Rool players that spam down smash. So Palutena gets a bye, Little Mac's gonna get a bye, that's gonna help him out a lot. Then have Bowser versus Olimar. Yeah, and then I have a few amiibo of just characters that I like, but I bought the King K. Rool one because I was tired of losing to K. Rool. And this was back whenever, or I guess the K. Rool amiibo came out after the patch that nerfed him heavily, but I was losing to K. Rool a lot before that patch, so that's why I got so annoyed. Because he used to be a mid-tier character before that patch, but now he's probably bottom tier. I don't even remember all of the stuff that they changed, but I know that they messed up his recovery and they messed up his neutral special. And then in the last patch they buffed him in 3.1, if I remember correctly. Or it could be 3.0, but they buffed him recently, but it's still not enough to bring him back to where he was. Yeah, Olimar is still pretty scary, even though he did get nerfed. Especially against heavies like Bowser. Bowser really can't do much against Olimar. It's one of his worst matchups. Because Olimar can just throw Pikmin at him and Bowser just gets outrange. But Bowser is pretty fast, so he can actually approach Olimar, so that's definitely an advantage he has over a character like Ganondorf. Because even though Bowser's the heaviest character in the game, he's actually really fast. But Olimar can just kind of outspace him. Thought that down air was going to spike. Okay, Unreal. Yeah, next stream is probably going to be tomorrow, but I might stream later today. It just depends on if I get tier list stuff done. Yeah, Bowser's still living that at 160. Oh, and thanks for following, by the way. Although you said that you did it, but... Yeah, there, I just got the notification. Although it should pop up on the stream in a few seconds. Because it's usually pretty delayed. Yeah, there it goes. That up smash definitely gonna take out Olimar though, because it's pretty light. Its disadvantage isn't that great either, so I guess Bowser could maybe take over that aspect of him with like a fair. Because if Olimar has to up B, then Bowser can just punish with fair or back air, and Olimar can't do much against that. Bowser's pretty much just trying to... Oh, and he actually gets the Nair. If he wouldn't have got that Nair, then Olimar would have won, but he got the Nair, so then he was able to combo that fair. But I thought Olimar definitely had that game. He got like the perfect hit of it and everything, because if you hit the Nair at the wrong spot, then you can't combo off of it. And so then Olimar could have used that to his advantage. Now we've got Pokemon Trainer versus Captain Falcon. And I do think Falcon will most likely win this, but not really sure. The only people that have beat Captain Falcon have been Shulk and Piranha Plant, I think. I don't remember who beat him in last season's major tournament. But this season, I think he's gone undefeated. If not pretty close. Up air's definitely... Oh, Falcon barely made that. I was gonna say it's probably gonna be enough to get Falcon, but it wasn't, because Falcon managed to just get enough space. Ivysaur switch was a bad idea. I guess he might be trying to switch over to Charizard, which would be much better, because then he could kill Falcon. But he's just going to get a lot of percent done on him if he switches over to Ivysaur. Because Ivysaur is easier to combo than Squirtle. Obviously Charizard's going to be the easiest to combo, but if you drop a combo at all, or you do something that's unsafe, then Charizard can punish it like that. It's definitely going to be an up throw. And he managed to land fair out of the up throw, as Falcon was at a low enough percent. Charizard's still living at 192%, now 204, so he's got a decent amount of rage on him. Falcon goes for the down smash, but doesn't land it. He does land the dash check though. And that was pretty much perfect DI, and Charizard still wasn't able to live that. He was at 200. Falcon needs to start getting in percent if he wants to come back, but Squirtle kind of needs to just avoid Falcon to do that. Though Squirtle can attack from far away without having the side B to rush in. Now would probably be the time to switch into Ivysaur. Well, yeah, I would say probably now. Because Ivysaur is at a low enough percent to be able to escape most combos. Or if he gets comboed at this percent, it's only going to be to like 70. And then when you're at 90, you want to switch over to Charizard 90 to 100. And then I would say at like 150, you probably want to switch back over to Squirtle against Falcon. That way you can avoid a lot of combos, but he did land that Flare Blitz there, which is going to help him out a lot. Falcon lands the Falcon Dive, so it's an even game. Starting out with Squirtle. Once again, it's going to be able to avoid a lot of Falcon combos this way. Falcon did have the lead there, but that back air is going to be enough to take it back. He's going to land that up smash though, so Falcon with a pretty large lead by about 40%. 40.5. Tries to go for the knee, but he did miss it. If he would have landed the knee, he would have taken the game. He barely made it back to the ledge there too. I thought he wasn't gonna make it, and Turtle just gimped him with like a fair. And he's gonna land Falcon Kick into down air. I actually learned down tilt to down air from this Falcon, so not too surprised that he was able to get a down air there. I didn't really learn it, but I saw him do it, so I pretty much just stole his idea. And now whenever I down tilt, I always try to go for a dare. Or if I'm at the ledge, I just spam down tilt. Because it just hits at a low angle, so you can knock people off stage very easily with it, and they'll be underneath the ledge at the end of the hit. And now we have Ridley versus Simon. Ridley can definitely gimp Simon very easily, and he's doing a pretty good job of knocking Simon off stage, and that's Simon's stock. Yeah, Ridley only taking 15% for this first stock. Now he's starting to take a bit more as Simon's starting to get set up. Land the side special there. He likes to do the side special, which actually works pretty well against Simon, unless Simon's already got projectiles out. So if he's got his side special out, then I wouldn't recommend to use Ridley's side special, but if he's just kind of sitting there trying to set up his like axe or his holy water, then you can side special. Although you could also side special away from Simon, and then try to trick the Ridley into side specialing you, and then him running into the holy water. And then you could maybe get something out of that. But yeah, sitting in shield like that's not going to help against Ridley. But that's also Simon's stock, so Ridley, once again at 15% for his stock, manages to eliminate Simon. Fair would have been enough to kill there, but Simon managed to land his fair first and was able to recover. It's kind of the most important thing to not have happen to you as Simon recurrence, just to try your best not to get edge guarded. Because if you're in a scenario like Simon was there, where you just get neutral bead, then there's not much you can do. And now we have Ganondorf versus Palutena. It's going to be at Dreamland 64 as well. So we could potentially see Wispy Woods get a kill. First kill of the season. Yeah, it's going to be forward smash, gets parried by Ganondorf though. Palutena still has advantage over Ganondorf, but it's could decline very easily, because Ganondorf could land any one of his smash attacks. They all do about 30%. Oh, I guess up tilt does hit through platforms, so... Yeah, remember Ganondorf was fighting earlier that spot dodge his up tilt actually made the smart play. I just didn't know it hit through platforms like that. Ganondorf is taking the lead by about 5%. That dash attack is going to definitely help out a lot, and the up air. Tries to spot dodge down tilt, but down tilt's just active for a bit too long for that. So tried to like air dodge and then do that. And he maybe could have recovered. Yeah, that down special is definitely not going to be the greatest thing to happen to Palutena there. Ganondorf still has the stock lead though, so it doesn't really matter what happens on this stock, because he should be able to damage Palutena enough to be able to kill next stock. And then he can also throw out a few unsafe moves to try to eliminate Palutena with this stock. Which is the main reason why you don't want to let Ganondorf have a stock advantage over you, because if he starts doing things that are unsafe randomly, then he starts to become pretty unpredictable, and if you make a mistake, then most of his unsafe things will kill. But that was pretty safe. This down tilt covered like the entire platform. The only thing Palutena could have done is like jump, air dodge, rule, or do anything that gets invincibility on like 1 frame or whatever. But yeah, sorry, I did not mean to skip that match, so we will be re-watching that match. I was on the phone, so I had to answer the phone really quickly because I got a call from someone important, but they didn't really have that much to say. But yeah, sorry for skipping that match, I did not mean to do that, so that just means that we're gonna have to quit. So, who was it in that match? It was, Bowser versus Little Mac. So, I'm gonna have to pretty much do that entire half of the bracket, so it's actually gonna take a minute, potentially, for me to be able to set things up. So I've gotta go back and watch the stream, and then see the fight. So, let me do that real fast. Did not mean to mess that up. So yeah, it was Bowser Jr., or not Bowser Jr., but Bowser versus Little Mac, so let me set that up. And then after that, we've got Falcon versus Ike. So, there we go. And it's going to be one of the stages that we're already on there.
3, 2, 1, go!
So yeah, Bowser starting out with an up smash. Not that bad of a move to start out with, but definitely needs to be careful with Little Mac, as Little Mac can do a lot of damage to Bowser pretty quickly. Even though Bowser can do that damage back, Little Mac has some actually strong moves that Bowser can't really do much against, like that or forward smash there that he angled upward. And then he also has KO punch, so definitely something that he needs to be aware of. So yeah, and then we also have Ridley and Palutena on the other side, so let me try to make a note of everything so that way I don't mess this up again. So, let's see. Okay, I have everything written down, so sorry for messing that up, but it's trying to hit no, but when I moved the left stick, I guess I moved it upwards instead of sideways, so I was holding my controller a little bit weird to answer the phone. So, had a little bit too much stuff going on at once, and didn't notice that. Yeah, it looks like the same result's going to happen, which is Bowser moving on to round 2. Of course, if Little Mac would have gotten that KO punch, Bowser would have been in a pretty tough spot, but it wouldn't have killed. Or actually, that would have been worse, because, alright, no, it would have done the same, because it would have only done like 30% to Bowser, and Bowser would have lived. Because Bowser has to be at a pretty high percent for KO punch to kill. Being the heaviest character in the game. that up smash from Bowser, pretty good option out of shield. One of the better ones in the game. Definitely going to do a bit of damage back. Neutral layers into a dash attack, but it does not connect as Little Mac does air dodge. Little Mac only needs one more hit for the KO punch, and it will be enough to kill Bowser at this percent, but he does land Nair into back air, and that's definitely going to be enough for Bowser to kill. A little bit of a better game for Bowser, as it wasn't as close. But yeah, now we've got to do Falcon versus Ike here, and then we can go back to tournaments. So, let's see. At Bowser, Little Mac, so now need Captain Falcon here, and then Ike, who is going to be here. So we're going to be at Yoshi's Island Melee. Probably one of the better stages in the game, in my opinion. I think the worst stage that is probably currently legal, or at least the ones that are in my rule set, is going to be Yoshi's Island Brawl. And I don't really know why, I just don't really do well on that stage consistently. I know a lot of people have said that they don't like Yoshi's Island Brawl. And I even play with hazards off, so there's not the little platform that saves people. But yeah, there's just something about it, I guess. The curve in the middle doesn't really help projectiles that much, and the platform being where it is, just... it's much more disruptive than actually helpful, because with this stage, the platforms can help extend combos, whereas with Yoshi's Island Brawl, I mean, it can help extend combos, but there's just such a large platform that either people are going to be camping the top platform, or they're going to be camping the bottom most of the time. That could be a reason why. Like, I know with a lot of the CPUs, they'll just sit on top and just wait for you to try to get on top and then, like, dash attack you off. So you just gotta hit them through the stage. Thought he might do a knee there, actually. But he's going to get footstooled by Ike, and that will be enough to kill. As Falcon can't really survive footstools unless he's got his double jump. Yeah, that's going to be Ike stock taken in the same way. Raptor boost into a short hop nair, that time into a short hop up air. Or I believe that was full hop, not short hop. Neutral air into up smash, gonna do a bit of damage to Falcon here. Is that neutral air to fair, but Falcon should still be able to recover from that. That up tilt into the angled upward forward air. I mean forward tilt, not forward air. It's pretty decent in terms of just like doing percent, but Falcon could have potentially followed that up for a lot more damage. I believe that was back throw, and it is going to kill with that percent for sure. And so is down smashing while Ike is going to counter. Another thing I've noticed a lot of Falcon CPUs do is they'll kind of just down smash constantly if you're right next to them. By the time you forward smash, which is a mix-up. Down tilt to fair, it's definitely going to hurt Falcon a lot. The matchup against Ike for Falcon is not a great one, for sure. Same thing with like Shulk, they just have a bit too much range for Falcon to deal with. But Falcon was doing pretty good earlier. This stock he's not doing as great, but he can still win if he gets decent combo started, or lands a knee, or down smash as well. So yeah, it's going to be Falcon moving on. Thought Ike definitely had that game towards the end, but I was kind of hoping that Falcon would win. As I still do like to see Captain Falcon play in CPU tournaments, as they're always interesting. Oh yeah, now we go back to tourney mode, which is going to be here, and then we set the number of participants to 4 CPUs. So this one should be pretty easy to set up. We're gonna have Ridley and Paolu versus Bowser and Falcon. Although it's not doubles, so they're gonna be fighting each other, and then the winner of that has to fight Bowser and Falcon. And shuffle. Wait, no, we weren't supposed to shuffle it. Okay. Let's see, who did I put where? So, yeah, there we go. So I was not supposed to shuffle that, so glad that it reset then. So used to shuffling these things, but this one has already been set, so there is no mid-tournament shuffling. So, got Ridley versus Palutena for this game, or Palutena versus Ridley for reading it from top to bottom. But yeah, I just messed up this entire tournament on this last one. I do apologize, but hopefully now we should have no more problems at all. Ridley doing Ridley's thing of just side-being people. So it looks like everything is back to normal. Yeah, Ridley kind of needs to get in some percent here for a kill. Side special will definitely kill now, so he could just go for that, but he's kind of struggling to kill Palutena, which is something that he usually doesn't have a problem with. Palutena was hit by an untechable and lived. I have actually never seen that happen. Because there was a red spark, so that means it was untechable. Or whatever it's called. I've heard people refer to it as spark, so there was a red flash, and it means that it was untechable. But yeah, that down air, really good edge guard by Palutena. I'm gonna kind of reset the game. The Ridley still side specialing, so it doesn't really reset much. Another side special. Thought we were gonna see a second side special from Ridley, except going off stage to track Palutena down. But didn't go for it. I believe Palutena can actually survive that as long as she has her double jump. So maybe that's why he didn't go for it. So yeah, not really saying much because not much has happened so far. Palutena has kind of just been spamming auto reticle, and Ridley's been getting hit by it, and now Explosive Flame gets shielded, so then she dash attacks into up air actually, so that is going to kill. So yeah, hopefully this stock's a little bit more exciting than the end of that stock. Though it doesn't really look like it. I don't really know what's happening currently, but Palutena finally breaks the ice of neither of them hitting each other for 10 seconds. special, not going to be enough to kill Palutena there, but Palutena's definitely on the ropes, 150%. I mean, Nair into itself could work, but I think Ridley almost died from that because they traded, but Palutena is going to lose that trade, and Ridley moves on to finals against either Bowser or Captain Falcon. I'm not going to skip it this time.
3, 2, 1, go!
I don't know why I've always thought this song was from Kirby, so it kind of surprised me to be here. But I just realized it's from Yoshi. That footstool, another footstool from Falcon, and that's going to be enough to kill after getting the double footstool. It's like that footstool's not really going to kill Bowser, but I'm glad that you kind of went for it because it makes things a little bit more entertaining, but he did a double footstool, which would be enough to kill Bowser, because Bowser then used his jump to recover from the original footstool. But I've actually never seen anyone try to go for the double footstool, except on, like, Jigglypuff. That up tilt, very strong move. Covers a lot of distance around Bowser as well, so it's a really good move for if people are trying to like land on you or if they're pretty much in the range of the up tilt at all. But down air from Falcon's just going to reset this game back to 0-0, although Falcon does have a stock lead over Bowser. We could even see him get a 0 to death here. Pretty nice combo of up smash and up air from Captain Falcon, but he is going to get hit by that down smash from Bowser. And that forward smash as well. Going to knock him up to 50%. It's about 58 now from new special, but now he's been hit by a pretty wide variety of moves. Bowser is at 100%, so he's kind of at kill percent for a smash attack or a down air. Side special as well as just any spike, but outside of that, not really a kill percent, and that down air is going to be enough, even though it was Sour Spot. So Captain Falcon moves on to finals against Ridley. So yeah, I was trying to rush around, so I didn't have everyone in their appropriate skins, but in the next tournament I will have everyone in their skins and everything like that, like I usually do. But for this final game here, we have Ridley versus Captain Falcon, because the Ridley that won was red, but I didn't make red Ridley in here, that's what I was referring to. And Falcon with a 0 to 46.6 currently, and that's going to be what the number is. It really does get a neutral air. That up special is going to be enough to kill for Falcon. So I was going to try to commentate what they were doing off stage, but it really didn't last too long. Basically, I think Falcon tried to down air Ridley, but it was a sour spot, so then Ridley teched the hit. So then Falcon dives because Ridley tried to go in for a hit on Bowser. I mean on Falcon, not Bowser. Ran out of the way and spot dodged and got a down air. So Falcon probably popping off right now. His undefeated record, as far as I remember, I guess he might have lost one game, but his nearly undefeated record still doing pretty well for this season. Hasn't even dropped a stock yet for this finals. Really definitely a pretty bad matchup against Falcon, but or has a pretty bad matchup against Falcon, but yeah, Falcon is going to take the game in 1 minute and 35 seconds with a 3-stock. And he gets another trophy to go home. So yeah, that's going to be it for this stream for today. I probably will be streaming later, I don't really know yet. I kind of want to get a few things done. I've got to start the ranking thing for this CPU tournament season, which I still haven't done for some reason. So I definitely need to finish that, and also start it. Well, I guess I started it a bit, but I just need to add from tournament number 1 through 12, and also these pre-COCs. I need to add in all the information from that, because I did a few characters from the first CPU tournament, but I haven't done any of the rest, so I've got a while to go on that. And I also have to work on the tier list a bit, and try to finish low tier. I want to finish up to high mid tier today on what I'm typing, so that way I can have some idea of what to say instead of having to make stuff up in my head for the tier list as I'm going along. Want to have something to read to kind of go off of. But yeah, that's going to be it for this tournament and stream, so I guess I'll see everyone in the next one.